first step, what you want to do is prepare your embeds. So I have here the mold I want to show you. I got it from Van Yule. I'm gonna show you some others that I have in a moment. So this is melt and pour glycerin soap that I just poured in, and then it comes out very easily. You can see this is a raspberry shape that I'm gonna use for the raspberry vanilla soap we're gonna make today. I added also some little sparkle to make it more pop and less transparent, kind of. I don't know if this makes sense what I'm saying. So here I have another one. This is the blueberry. The mold feels a bit weird, I have to say, but I was researching quite a bit, and this lady, she's making these molds on real fruit, you know, so it looks realistic. This is a strawberry. I mean, you can't really tell that it is a strawberry, but once you push it out, it's gonna be a strawberry. Here is one for slices of banana. I have the pecan nuts. She has different sizes and different cavity, like she has these huge molds with like 100 cavities or something like this. This is a blackberry, so it's a little bit a bigger one. You can see here my thumb is going in, it's quite deep. Yeah? And then the one I used, of course, is the raspberry one that I'm using for this soap today. I'm also gonna be piping on the top of this soap, and I like to prepare the piping bag and the piping tip beforehand. So I'm using these piping bags. These are not like usual plastic. It's more like sturdy, you know. If you have a lot of batter in here, it won't break easily. And I got it from Amazon. I'm gonna leave also a link down in the description box. So what I like to do is take a piping bag, and then I have the piping tips. I like to keep them in a little toolbox like this, so I can easily see what I have. And for today, I'm gonna be using this tip here. This comes from Stetter, and it's a 13 millimeter piping tip. It's like an open star, and this has more than this one. You can see the difference. So I'm using the one which has more to make a more defined piping. So then I'm gonna use the scissors, and I'm gonna cut the tip off here. And then put it in a container, like so. And then you can just pour your batter in without being afraid of the batter leaking out at the end of the tip if the batter is not yet at the right consistency. I find this is very practical, and then you don't have to fiddle around with your bag and with your spatula, and sometimes it goes really fast, and then you want to be prepared and just be able to pop your batter into the bag, and then you're ready to go. I'm going to be adding sodium lactate to the lye water. This makes unmolding very easy, and it gives a little shine to the soap. I'm gonna do for this size 1.5 tablespoons, and I'm gonna stir very well. And this I'm always doing when the lye water is cooled down. Here are the oils. You will find the oil mixture the ratio percentages in the description box below. So we are about 50 degrees and Fahrenheit it would be 117. The reason why I'm soaping a little bit hotter is because for the piping I want to be able to pipe and not wait for an eternity for the consistency to be ready to pipe. So I'm gonna add the lye water to the oils. And then mix to light emulsion. That's good enough. And I'm going to divide the batter for the piping. And I'm gonna do about 800-900 grams for the part on top. I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna color this one. I am using Burlesque Mica from Make It Up. Sorry, this is like a vibrant kind of Bordeaux. Add a little bit more colorant here, just because once it is saponified it will get a little lighter. Okay, nice. I'm gonna add just a little bit of TD. Now I think it's a nice berry kind of color, and I'm gonna hand mix in the fragrance oil, which is black raspberry vanilla of scent Perfique. I was using the one from Brambleberry before and I was very happy with it, although it doesn't correspond to the European standards, so I had to change. This one of Scent Perfique is a little bit more on the fruity side than on the musky side, if that makes sense. Good, so we're gonna put this one into the mold. And I'm just gonna put everything in. I'm not gonna knead anything later. It's just gonna be the bottom part is gonna be pink. I don't know if you even call it pink. It's more like a mauve or a berry color, but I think it's still in the pink range. So we're going to shake it a little bit to make it even, and we'll put it aside so we can take care of the piping, the frosting, sorry. So this is the part of the frosting. I'm not going to put any fragrance in it, and I'm going to add titanium dioxide mixed with water. Titanium dioxide also has the tendency of thickening up. you can see, we are already going into the direction of the piping consistency. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna stir it occasionally until we are at the point where we can pipe. You want the peaks to hold and not fall into itself. So we're gonna just give it a rest and come back and stir occasionally, and just keep it under control, because it can go very fast, and then if it's too hard to pipe, then it's gonna be a difference. Oh, I also wanted to make a little experiment. I have some interesting glitter here that I want to add, just to see how this is gonna work and if you can see it at all in the batter. So I'm gonna quickly mix that in as well. It's good when you have your stuff sitting on the desk. So you don't forget what you wanted to do, because I forget things when I'm very excited and, you know, like, is it gonna work out? So then it's easier. You have your things sitting there and then you don't forget it. I don't know if the camera picks up. Maybe you can see it has a little shine to it. I really like it. And yeah, as I said, we're gonna wait until it is ready to pipe. So as anticipated, this is moving quite quickly. You can see here it is at a very good consistency to be piped. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to transfer it into the piping bag. With the piping, it's always like a fine line you have to find, because if it's too runny, you're gonna just ruin the design, because the batter is falling in itself, it's collapsing in itself. And if it's too hard, then you cannot get it out of the bag anymore, and then it makes some strange, it breaks on the outer definition of the ridges, or I don't know exactly how you say it in English, but I think you know what I mean. But of course, when soaping, it's always good to be able to improvise, because sometimes, or oftentimes, you have to improvise, because different kind of factors will determine different kind of things, you know, and then it's always better to be prepared. So what I want to do here is, I would like to do a piping that is a bit different than the usual piping, and I'm gonna attempt to see if it works out. Something a little bit more like this, because I would like it to be a little bit more flat than spiky, if you know what I mean. So the spikes are not sticking out and giving the impression of hurting the person while showering or washing their hands. Gives me the impression of an Italian gelato cake, if you know what that is. And I'm pushing it inside a little bit, because I don't want to have some holes after the pink layer. Okay, so that's good enough. You can see there is a little correction to be done on this side here. Okay, now it's time for embeds. Actually, I'm gonna be adding some glitter first. I'm gonna be using this white glitter of Nurture soap. You can probably not tell on camera if this is showing up or not, but it will show up on the finished product, on the cured soap, I want to say. And now I'm going to use rubbing alcohol to seal in the glitter and also to prevent soda ash. At this point I'm going to remove my gloves because I need to stick the embeds in and I prefer to have a good control. I don't have a good control with gloves on, so if you don't feel confident in doing that, please keep your gloves on. It's better for safety. So I have some marks here and I'm going to try to put the raspberry inside or within the marks so that when the soap is cut, the raspberry is within it. Sometimes I think it would be better to have a single wire cutter, exactly for this reason. I'm gonna probably get one in a near future, but so far it went actually pretty good. Just when you do this without gloves, please be careful what you're doing with your fingers, because you don't want to burn yourself with lye. It's not how can I say, not an interesting experience, you know. Okay, so I want just to push it in, make sure that it really sticks to the soap. And here we have it, and we don't have any spikes coming out of the soap. That's what I wanted to have. So this is a close-up of the soap. And we're gonna be back tomorrow for the cut, when you are going to be back in a jiffy. It's a brambleberry 5-pound slide mold, and then you remove the top, and because it has this silicone liner, you can really easily, it smells nice. It smells like a raspberry cake. Nice. So I find that you can really remove it easily. You can see the color turned out quite good. So let's see how it comes out. And as I usually say, don't force it. If you see that the soap is sticking on the bottom, let me see if I can show you. Like here, you see this airlock is usually breaking. You can see here it breaks. So if you see that this is not happening, just leave it a little bit longer, and you won't ruin your soap. Otherwise, if you're just too impatient and you want to be fast or something, or you're in a rush, it's really not worth it, you know. It's not worth it. This is 2.5 pounds of soap. It's not worth it. I'm sorry for my raspy voice this morning, I don't know why. Okay, so it looks like this is not bad. Now let's see how the cut is gonna be. Okay, so I'm trying out new angles as well as we go. It's a thing of experience. So here we go with the soap. We just place it on the soap cutter like so. And then you have these guitar strings. You need to tune them. No, I'm just joking. You just need to make sure that they are tight, so it will go through the soap. Yeah, it's like a cheese cutter, you could say. So you press evenly and firmly, and I need to make sure also that the raspberries are inside the slice. Looks quite okay. And voila. Let's have a look at how the piping looks. When it's cut like that. I think it's interesting. What do you think? And this looks like it's totally okay to be stamped immediately, because I'm gonna put my logo on it. I think it gives a personal touch to the soap, a touch of handmade and so forth. So let's go with the second part. I'm gonna do it the other way around now. Maybe I can switch you a little bit over here. Okay, hope you all can see. Just making sure that I'm lining up the soap correctly. Okay, so let's try. Okay. And here we go. I like to have a very simple, solid bottom here, since we have the piping on top, and I don't have any soap in my range that is just a solid color. Every other soap has a kind of a swirl in it, or at least two colors and so forth. These pieces here these end pieces, as you can see, are a little bit smaller, so I'm going to use them as samples, and you can stamp them as the first soap, so you are sure that the stamping consistency is right. So for the stamping, I'm starting with the end piece. Just putting, I like to put it on a little wooden board, so you're more safe, I think, instead of just pushing it onto the metal here. So you center it where you want to have your stamp, and then you give it a light tap. Start in the middle, left, right, and then you will see that the stamp is sinking into the soap. You will recognize this, and you take it out by gently wiggling it like this, and then you have the impression. So what is your impression of this impression? All right. makes a nice sample. I love the color. I think it's a real berry kind of color, fitting to the raspberry. And some people ask, when is a good time to stamp your soap? And my answer is probably for everyone different, depending on the recipe and on the type of soap you are making. Me, typically, I stamp immediately after unmolding. I know that not everyone has the same technique though. I know that some people wait up to a week. If I have a recipe with a lot of liquid oils, I sometimes do that too. But with my usual recipe that you can find, by the way, in the description box below, immediately after cutting, I mean, you feel it. This soap is already quite solid or hard, since I soaped quite hot. You could really feel it setting up quite fast yesterday. So I'm gonna finish up here the stamping. There are people that are making, or companies that are making these kind of acrylic stamps. You can just send them your logo or what you want to have, initials or maybe a design or a symbol, you know. I mean, the good thing about making handmade soap is you can create endless variations and things that you can do. And the last one. Here we go. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you around soon. Bye bye.